We are going to start today's class. A very good morning, warriors. Great. Let's continue our discussion on what we were discussing in the last class. Like we discussed, I'm going to do something fun with all of you today. But before we do that, let's quickly revise what and all we discussed in the last class. We spoke about the fact that when it comes to laws, you have three kinds of things to learn in the subject. One is called laws, tax, income. Law basically means any kind of rules and regulations. Any kind of rules and regulations which you have to follow or you don't have to follow. Nevertheless, it is always a law. To make a law legal, you need to go through. Very good. You need to go through the constitution. And then we have something called as tax. Tax is basically a charge levied on you. It's a charge levied on you. It doesn't have to be an income. It doesn't have to be an expense. As long as a charge is levied on you, it is called as tax. That is what we have. Again, taxes can be legal or illegal based on constitution. And finally, for my subject, we have something called as income, where income basically does not have any reference to it. Income is defined under income tax law. So what income tax says is an income, otherwise it is not an income. Clear? Yes? Good. We ended our discussion in the last class by understanding something called as the difference between a law and a act. We understood that law is bigger. The law is bigger, comprising of act, rules, circulars, notifications, case laws. Very good. We have five things to be discussing on. Yes, today's class, like we discussed, people, we are going to create a law for ourselves. Yes. So what has happened is the scenario is like this. The issue, what happened is, I was sitting at home 2 days ago, and my parents were telling me, Ki, Rahul, we need to go buy some vegetables, right? So Rahul, be the eligible bachelor kind of person. Rahul went and said, "मैं लाऊंगा. I will get you vegetables. I know how to buy vegetables. मेरे को सब आता है. मैं बनूंगा eligible bachelor." Right? And so what happened is I went on Google and I was searching the whole Google कि भाई vegetables कहाँ पे अच्छे मिलेंगे. Yes, where will I get vegetables? हाँ मिलते हैं. Where will you get good vegetables? Yes. And so what happened is I searched on the platform, and what happened is one of the shops, let's say Palamudir, came on the site. Yes. When Palamudir came on the site, Palamudir put a banner. The banner came and said, "Vegetables aaj milenge 50% off." Right now, Rahul is extremely proud. Rahul is like, Dekho, Rahul has searched the place 50% off. Rahul goes back home and comes and says, "Itna saving." Parents will be super proud. Right. So Rahul also travels 5 kilometers, goes to Palamudir and tries to buy vegetables. When Rahul is buying vegetables, Rahul makes a budget estimate. CNO people, accountants we are. Yes, so we make a budget estimate, and our budget estimate comes to around 450 something. Right. So I take out 450 rupees and I give it to the shopkeeper. The shopkeeper says, "No, no, sir, your charge is 700." I'm like, "Nahi, nahi, I know, see, I know things. I know it's 450." He's like, "Nahi, sir, it is 700." I'm like, "But I prepared the whole list. It is 450 only." He's like, "Nahi, sir, you have bought tomatoes." I'm like, I know I bought tomatoes. I need tomatoes. He's like, "But sir, the banner came and said vegetables pay 50% off है. टोमेटो तो फ्रूट है." मैं बोला, "अबे साले, टोमेटो विल यू पुट इन फ्रूट सैलेड? टोमेटो तो वेजिटेबल में ही जाएगा." तो आई एम लाइक, "नहीं नहीं, टोमेटो इज वेजिटेबल." ही इज लाइक, "नहीं नहीं सर, टोमेटो इज अ." अब मैं हूँ गुस्से में. आई एम वेरी पिस्ड ऑफ. आई एम लाइक, "बॉस, आई नीड टू गो tell my family that I will do a good job." Yes. So I am right now super pissed off. And so therefore, I, as a CA, go to the parliament and come and say, "Sir, we need a we need a law." Yes. And this law has to come and tell me कि tomato है fruit or tomato है vegetable, because the problem is tomato has not been defined. Tomato छोड़ो, fruit itself has not been defined. Yes or no? Some people come and say fruit ये होता है. Some people come and say fruit ये होता है. But what is fruit? No one knows. We are going by customary belief. I'm like, India does not work with customary belief. Everyone wants to fight with each other. So therefore, we will now have to create a new. Very good. The law is going to be called as fruit law. The law is going to be called as fruit law. So we're going to create a law, people. The law is where we are going to create what is called as fruit. What is called as fruit. That is the understanding of the law. Yes or no? Yes. So let's understand this carefully. When you start creating a law, it's not just about fruit. It's about anything for that matter. First thing and the most important thing you need to know is the requirement of it. Why do you want it? Yes or no? In my case, I want it because I want 50% off. Yes, I am greedy to my extent, doesn't matter. Yes, so I have a necessity right now. With this necessity, people, I will have to start creating a law. Very good. Now, for you to understand creating a law, we discussed there are five components. Components are act, rules, circulars, notifications. Very good. So five different things have to be created right now. And therefore, for all the five things, five different persons have to be appointed. True or false? True or false? False. You don't need five different persons to do it because every single person does a different thing altogether. Yes. For those who know people in your mythology also, you have three gods. One is Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva, the one who creates, the one who manages, and finally the one who destroys. The one who destroys. Yes or no? Yes. Indian judicial system works on the same parameters. Indian judicial system has something called a legislative body, something called a administrative body, and something called a judicial body. Yes or no? Yes. So the first thing we need to understand is five things I need. Who will take charge of what? Who will take charge of? First I need is a act. Act will be taken charge by very good legislative body. You have to create something. Yes. Then we'll come to rules. Rules will be done by very good will be done by administrative body. If you think about it, last class I told you, act tells you what to do. Rules tell you how to do. How to do only happens if you are an expert on it. Parliament is not an expert on everything. Correct, not correct. Parliament is not an expert on everything. Parliament can only tell you what is the law. How to follow it is done by a specialized body. Correct, not correct. Yes. So I will need rules to be created by the administrative body. Then we have circulars and notifications. What is that? We will discuss. Yes, but that is also created by administrative body, giving me the case laws, which is done by judicial bodies. Very good. That is what the understanding is going to be. Yes. So people, you and I are now going to create the law. For you to start with the law, first thing there should be a act, which means act is the first and the most important thing. Apo, it has to be done by the legislative body, which in India is the parliament. Yes or no? Yes. So I am now going to become the minister of Minister of, very good. I'm going to go and approach the Department of Agriculture. Ministry of Agriculture will be approached, and I'll tell them, sir, Ministry of Agriculture, I need a new law in India called as fruit law, for which I need something called as fruit act. I need something called as fruit act. You are the department. Help me out here. Help me out here. Imagine people, you and I are all the department ministers. Yes, the honest ones. Yes, the honest one department ministers we all are, which means we together are now going to create an act. We are going to create an act. Law is on its place. We are going to create an act. Correct, not correct? Yes, very good. You're going to keep it in mind, people, and you're going to tell me how you have done it for your foundation syllabus. Yes, let's imagine for a vague example, you're matching something called Indian Contract Act, right? So you're going to match Indian Contract Act with my Fruit Act, and we're going to create it together. Yes or no? Yes or no? Yes. On that understanding, people, let's create an act together. What are we going to do? For you to create an act, first thing you need to give a first thing you need to give a name. It needs a name. Yes or no? Yes. Power would not be an issue, people, because agriculture is a department already authorized by the constitution. I don't have to worry about it. But yes, like you rightly said, first always check for your authority also. Do you really have the authority? Agricultural department should have authority. I don't have a problem here, which means I'm ready to now create a law. I'm ready to now create a law. क्या बनाएंगे? Let's make a law. चल जा, चल जा, चल जा. Yes. Good. Let's create a law, people. The law is going to be starting with the heading. What is the heading you want to call it? We're going to call it a Fruit Act 2020. Very good. People, when you write the word 2025, it is basically clarifying to you when did it come into existence. When did it come into existence? For us, it is going to come into existence on 16th November 2025. आज छापा पड़ेगा. The why is the question we'll discuss in next classes. Right? Yes, yes. So the Fruit Act 2025 is going to come into picture, and we're going to start it from 16th November 2025. Now we are in the picture to now create a act for ourselves. Help me out, people. Every time you look at an act, how does it start? It starts with section one. Very good. Every act will always start with something called as sections. People, in an act, first thing and the most important thing is to club items. So first item will be something called chapters. Every chapter will have its own sections. And every time you start an act, the first and the most important thing is to have a section. So the section is going to be section number one. People, anyone knows what is section one? It gives you the name of the act. Okay, next. Introduction क्या चाहिए तुम्हें? No, that's a preamble. People to give why the act and all is being created is a preamble. That does not have to be part of the act. I'm creating a law right now. Yes, why, what, and all is going to be part of the preamble. When I give a speech on the parliament, I will tell that time. I don't have to put it here. Very good. So you are going to have three things in it, people. One is the name, second is applicability, third is section वन में क्या है? Sorry, meaning. Very good. People, three things an act will always discuss with you. First thing is called title, or actually in your income tax or any other act for that matter, we call it short title. We call it short title. Then it is called extent, and finally it is called commencement. Three things which is always discussed in every act. What is called as a title, extent, commencement. Very good. Yes, people, title basically would mean how are you going to call it? We are going to call it. Very good. So under section one, we are now going to introduce something called one. Something called one. One is going to be called. Very good. One is going to be called subsection. So section one, subsection one will come and say this act is going to be named as Fruit Act 2025. All that English you will write here. Yes. Subsection two will come and say this act applies to the whole of. Here comes the question. How did you decide that? How did you decide that? How did you decide that? Did I tell you that I wanted for India? Did I tell you I wanted for Chennai? I want my 50% off. I'm okay if it is for Chennai also. Correct, not correct? Yes. Which means the second question you need to ask yourself is when you create a law, to whom does it apply? To whom does it apply? The reason I'm telling you this is because people, when you decide that, you have to again refer back to a constitution. Understand, constitution gives you the power to do something, but constitution also has an additional power to tell who should do it. Who should? Which means I now need to decide who will take charge on this. Will the central government take charge on this? Will the state government take charge on this? Or do I want both of them to do it together? Both of them to do it together. This is what you would have learnt in foundation, people. Something called central list, state list. Very good. Concurrent list. Yes, you have three things called as union list, state list, and concurrent list. Union list basically means all the laws which is governed by the central government. State list is all the laws which is governed by the state government, and concurrent list is all governed both. Let's, for an understanding purposes, I went to the parliament directly, Delhi itself, which means I have approached central government. I want it to be a union list. I want it to be a union list. When I say that this act will apply to the whole of, very good, will apply to the whole of India. Yes or no? Yes. Now at this point, you would have learnt it in your foundation also, people. Some acts will use this English called this applies to the whole of India, including or excluding Jammu and Kashmir. What is this significance? Three, 370, Article 370. What is the history? What is the issue here? Earlier, full India itself was ruled by kings only. So after independence, also it was ruled by a king, and therefore they wanted a separate constitution for it. Hmm. People, do you know which acts are applicable to Jammu and Kashmir? Okay, let me give you a background, people. Issue what happened is when independence was taking place, there was, like he rightly said, everything was run by kings. Every state was run by kings, and therefore what happened is when independence took place, Congress party back in those days when they were doing a good job, yes, they had tried to consolidate all the states. They were trying to consolidate all the states to make one thing called India. To make one thing called India, certain states said, "I do not want to be part." Examples are examples were Bhutan, Bangladesh, Myanmar, Nepal, Pakistan, Sri Lanka. All those were part of India earlier. All those were part of India earlier, but those kings came and said, "I'm sorry, I want a separate status. I do not want to be part of India." Yes, at this stage, two states also came into charge. One was West Bengal, one was Jammu and Kashmir. These two states also came and said, I don't want to be part of India. I want my separate status. At this stage, people, Congress party became extremely worried because these two were the most flourishing states at that point of time. And therefore, somehow, somewhere, they were able to convince the West Bengal king to come and say, no, sir, you be part of India. I will give you all the benefits you want. I'll give you all the benefits you want. Somehow, somewhere, when Jammu and Kashmir was being approached, Pakistan was approaching it as well, which means there is a huge fight which took place between the Pakistani king and the Indian Congress, trying to fight out as to who will take over Jammu and Kashmir. At that stage, Indian government, Congress party went to Jammu and Kashmir and said, sir, we will not pressurize you to be part of India. We will not pressurize you to be part of India. You are part of India, but you can have your own separate status. To make sure that gets implemented, we introduced Article number 370, where Article 370 came and confirmed saying that Jammu and Kashmir will not explicitly given any law, which means India will have to get a permission for it. India will have to get a permission for it. Every time a law gets created in India, Jammu and Kashmir was specifically invited, informed that we have created this law. Would you like to be part of it? If they say yes, it becomes applicable. If they say no, they don't get it. They don't get it. Yes. Now today it is not relevant, but just to clarify to you, income tax was applicable even to Jammu and Kashmir. Contract Act was applicable even to Jammu and Kashmir. GST was never applicable to Jammu and Kashmir. GST was not an implementable law in Jammu and Kashmir, which means Jammu and Kashmir was not paying GST. It was as if when you pay from India to Jammu and Kashmir, it was treated as exports. It was as if you're paying outside India. It's as if you're paying outside India. That is how the laws were. Yes. However, people, 1 year ago, Mr. Modi Sarkar came and said, "Ho gaya ye sab nautanki. I don't care about all these things. Nonsense was done by Congress. I am now Modi. BJP is ruling party. I can decide what I want." And therefore, 1 year ago, Constitution was amended. 370 was abolished. 370 was abolished. Now, every single law of India applies to, which means all the old laws have not been updated yet. That's a different conversation. But every law coming forward will never use the word including or excluding. It will simply say applying to whole of India, deemed approval for Jammu and Kashmir also. Yes or no? Yes. Now that you and I are creating this law, we are applying it to the whole of India. Do I have to mention Jammu and Kashmir? I don't have to do that. Yes, which means I will say this applies to the whole of. Very good. That comes into section number 3. Subsection number 3 says, from when does it commence? So I will say this act will come into force from, very good, 16th November 2020. Very good. That is what is my section number 1 going to look like. Any doubts on section number 1? Yes. Till here you are all clear, people. Problem starts from here. I am now introducing section number 2. Why is this having an issue? I am now introducing section number 2, which is called as, very good, which is called as definitions. Yes. Now people help me out. Why do you need section number 2? Can't you put it in the specific section also? You'll read definition first and then read the law, is it? So you'll read definitions first and then go for the laws. You know how many definitions there are in income tax? Around 500 and odd. There are around 500 and odd definitions in income tax. You think you're going to read all the definitions before you read the law? You sure it will make sense? You want me to open the income tax act for you? When you become a qualified professional people, this is the PDF you'll be reading. Yes, this is a PDF about 890 pages and odd. Yes, this is how your income tax act looks like. Income tax act starts with section number 2. One has advance tax, agricultural income, amalgamation, additional commissioner, additional director, appellate tribunal, approved. ये सब चल रहा है. This will go. This will go for 20 pages. It will go for. Hey, by the way, खत्म नहीं हुआ. हाँ, हो गया. This will go for 20 pages. क्या समझा? People, the question is not that you look at definitions first before you go to the section. Let me put this very simply to you. Imagine if I'm coming and telling you in income tax, if any kind of gift is given by a family member, it is fully exempt. What? If any gift is given by a family member, it is fully Very good. Question to you comes forward is very simple. You said gift to a family. What is family? HOS Hindu undivided family. It's not a family. It's not a family. Blood relations, foundation वाला. फादर की ओनली सन का, थर्ड चाइल्ड का, फोर्थ वाइफ का, फिफ्थ किड, जिसके साथ ब्लड रिलेशन हो. पीपल जितना मैंने पढ़ा, as much as I read in my life, I've read that we all came from the same ancestor called Adam and Eve. हम सब खून का रिश्ता है हमारा. बहुत कम है बट है, थोड़ा सा तो है. अप टू 3 generations, ऊपर या नीचे? 3 generations अप और डाउन? साइड लेफ्ट, डाउन खाली. मतलब if papa gives you gift, it is taxable. Yes. What is family according to you is my question. You don't give me income tax. According to you, you are my lawmaker right now. We're creating fruit act. You tell me what do you want in your family? People, class खत्म नहीं होगी. Tell me what is family according. Hey, you are the lawmaker. Make whatever you want. Who cares? What is family according to you? Mother, father. Mother की father. हाँ. ये correct no. Mother की father is grand. What is wrong with you people? Mother, father. Ish. Mother, father. किसके? What is up? Yes, people. So imagine मिस्टर ए. मिस्टर ए की फैमिली चाहिए. मिस्टर ए की फैमिली चाहिए. मिस्टर ए की मदर. मिस्टर ए का फादर. मिस्टर ए की वाइफ. हस्बैंड नहीं चलेगा. कंफर्म कर रहा हूँ people. It's good to confirm यार. हाँ. एक ही स्पाउस के. नहीं जरूरी नहीं है. अच्छा. लड़का लड़की. अच्छा दोनों. बॉय एंड गर्ल. हाँ. एक का. एक का भाई. एस ब्रो. एस सिस. स्पाउस के पेरेंट्स. मदर इन लॉ. ए. व्हाट इज द प्रॉब्लम विद इन लॉस पीपल? क्या इशू है? मैं अलग घर में जाना है तुम्हें? ये लड़की घर तोड़ेगी. यस. स्पाउस का भाई. बहन का. अच्छा. क्यों? माँ वाइफ की तो भाई. मतलब ठीक है भाई छोड़ बहन तो. पीपल वाइफ एक तरफ लेकिन शादी इज इम्पोर्टेंट यार. नेक्स्ट. People, whenever I always give this clarification, whenever you look for a better half for yourself, कभी भी साली चेक कर लेना. इंपॉर्टेंट होता है पीपल, लड़कों का कोड है वो, समझ जाओगे। नेक्स्ट, मेरे को चलेगा, अपने सिंगल टेंशन नहीं है। नेक्स्ट, ए ए पीपल, आई टोल्ड यू आई एम ट्राइंग टू हैव फन हियर बट इट्स ओनली विद मी, यस डोंट टॉक ईच अदर, मेरे को बहुत कंफ्यूज होता है, गेट ऑन फ्लो। नेक्स्ट, ग्रैंड पेरेंट्स, सिंपल बोलना, ब्लड रिलेशन क्या चल रहा है, मम्मी के पापा के। एनीवन एल्स, एनीवन एल्स, एश, पीपल आई सी क्रॉस टॉक्स एनीमोर, आई विल सेंड यू आउट, मत करो प्लीज, मत करो, मेरे को बहुत गुस्सा आ जाएगा। एनीवन एल्स, सेम थिंग, किड्स के स्पाउस, बॉय का निब्बी, गर्ल का निब्बा, एनीवन एल्स, नहीं, पीपल, हाँ वही मैं, पीपल ब्रो इज ओके, ब्रो की वाइफ इज ऑल्सो, सिस्टर का हस्बैंड ठीक है, ब्रो का, हाँ, ये पीपल साली शादी होगी तो पूछो, साली की हस्बैंड चाहिए क्या, नहीं ना, साला का मेरे को क्या, साला, साला की वाइफ, आई विल शी बी माई फैमिली। अब यू आस्क क्वेश्चन लाइक दैट, मैं क्या, एनीवन एल्स, किनके बच्चे, सबके बच्चे, ननद और क्या, साला साली के बच्चे का तेरे को क्या करना है, हाँ ओके, लेट मी क्लैरिफाई, मैं जैन फैमिली नहीं पूछ रहा, मेरे को नॉर्मल फैमिली चाहिए, यस, एक ही घर में 50 लोग बैठे हैं, मेरे को नहीं चाहिए। तुम्हारे घर में क्या चल रहा है मैं नहीं पूछ रहा, हर people, you see the problem, you see the problem, yes, another issue is very simple people, because when I told you gift from a relatives is exempt, you would literally want everyone to be exempt, because anyone giving you money you will say okay, not taxable, yes, but here is income tax trying to be safe, because income tax would say boss, if that is the case then everyone is not going to pay tax, because everyone will come and say I'm related to this guy somehow, correct, not correct, yes, in these kind of scenarios it becomes a big issue, because you need to define what is family, agreed, not agreed, yes. Now here comes the big question, when you're defining family, am I going to use family only for the purpose of giving gifts? I can give family other things also, I can take an insurance for the family, I can take health checkup for the family, which means family is a more generic term, family is a more generic term. Now if you think about this carefully, imagine if I tell you gift as a definition is given in section 56, and if I define family under section 56, it would then mean that family only applies to section 50. Very good. Yes or no? At this stage, if another definition like section 32 comes and 32 says family again, I would say 32 will have to find a new family definition, because 56 definition will not apply to 32. Correct, not correct? Yes. Upon in those kind of scenarios, people, the one big issue comes is how do I decide what is a generic definition? Meaning, when I use the word income, income is a word which is going to apply to the whole act. In that case, income should be defined in one section or a common section. That common section is called, very good. That common section is called section 2. Section 2 basically gives you the definitions which you need to apply in the whole act. In the, very good. Now understand this carefully. When I told you that I wanted a family definition, people, it may be possible that for the purpose of gift, I can give a different definition. Maybe possible. I'm telling you. Maybe possible that gift can be different for a family. Insurance can be different for a family. Health can be different for a family. In which case, I'll have to give different definitions for family. When I'm giving different definitions, will I put it in section 2? No, I will put it in the respective. Agreed, not agreed. Yes. So what will I tell? I will take the definition, put it in the respective section. If it is not there in the section, I will come and check section. Section 2 will come and give me what the generic definition is. Agreed, not agreed. Yes. So when you create a law, the first question you're going to ask yourself is, when I define a word, how common is this word? If this is a very specific word, I'll put it in the respective section. If it's a common word, I'll put it in section. Very good. Now imagine this very simple example, people, that we were creating the law. In the hurry that we created a law, we forgot to define a few words. We forgot to define a few words. This word is not there in the section. It's not there in section 2. What to do? Amendment next year only will come. No. 1 year till you're stuck. Same example. Imagine fruit. Till now it was never defined. Till now it was never defined. When fruit was never defined, people, it was not there in any act. So it was not there in any section. It was not there in section 2. But you and I understand something about fruit. Tomorrow we can go and fight with the court. Court has to make an understanding on it. What will court use to make that understanding? Sorry? Try. It's okay. Give it a shot. General? General? No. Very good. We have something called as general clauses. Learned in foundation. Foundation came and told you General Clauses Act has a generic word of meanings. Where I come and talk about the fact that if nothing is defined in any law, you can use general clauses. Correct, not correct? Yes. A simple, beautiful example I'll give you, people, is that after independence, when a law was being created, the bigger issue at that point of time was females were not very active. They were always refined to the homes. Yes. With that understanding, what happened is most of the laws in India were masculine laws, which means everywhere in the law they always use the word he. Everywhere they use the word he, and therefore what happened is, people, when we started giving a little liberty, it became another downside for us, because when female were doing something illegal, they were never being caught, because every time a female went, she would come and say, I am not a he, law does not apply to me. Law does not apply to, it's a very valid thought. Technically, that's how you call loopholes. I'm now reading between the lines, because the law says he will be punishable, and I said I'm not he, therefore I'm not punishable. Yes or no? With that understanding, people came in General Clauses Act, where General Clauses Act came and said he also includes. Very good. This is what you learned in foundation. Yes. So when you learned in foundation, he became she, and therefore now in the whole Act of India, you will never find she word anywhere. You will still find the word he only. Everywhere in the Act, everywhere the word is he only, because it is understood that he is understood as she based on general clauses. Any doubts about this? Yes. Now, people, you have already done it in foundation. General clauses act, list of definitions you have seen. Unfortunately, the definition is not there in general clauses also. कहाँ जाए? Imagine if a word is not defined in the section, not defined in 2, not defined in general clauses also. Where do you go and sit? Sorry? Self assumption. People, imagine in this 1 year what can go wrong. Things can go horrible. Yes, because when you say self assumption, as Rahul, I would like to pay more tax, less tax. Less tax. As department, they want to collect more tax, less tax. More tax. We both are now fighting. Yes or no? Yes, because I am defining it differently. He is defining it differently. How do we solve this answer? Correct, not correct? Yes. People, before Chat GPT era, the one place where you used to look for definitions were very good. Therefore, step number 4 is to look for dictionaries. Now, let me be careful. Dictionary does not mean that Oxford dictionary you have at your home. Yes, वो CBSE board में दिए होंगे एक छोटी सी book. Throw it off. Yes, that is not the dictionary I'm talking about. We have a specific law dictionaries. We have specific law dictionaries, which means when you go to court and say, sir, this is not defined anywhere, court will use the law dictionary. It's called Black-Scholes dictionary or something like that. Yes, so that dictionary will be used by court to define something. Correct, correct, correct. People, unfortunately, unfortunately, dictionary also does not have the word. कहीं करें, कहीं करें. खुद तुम कौन हो? Who are you? You are one person in this 160 crore population. What kind of authority do you have to make a definition? 160 and counting, by the way. Huh? बहुत लेट समझते हैं तुम लोग तो. Yes, yes. Now you may think, Rahul, what stupidity are you talking about? How can a dictionary not have a meaning? Very logical thought, right? Let me give you a beautiful example. Imagine a case where what is happening is Rahul is in his company. Yes, Rahul is working in his company day and night, working hard. What happened is one of the day, department has sent a notice to Rahul. Department is income tax department has sent a notice to Rahul. The notice has come and told me that Rahul, I am asking these queries to you. You have to respond to me within 5 days. Failure to define will give you a penalty of 1 crore. That is a notice which has come to me. Now, Rahul being a manager obviously would not work. So, Rahul did one thing. Rahul took the mail and forwarded it off. Rahul forwarded to his junior and he came and said, this is for you to do. Take care. Yes or no? So, I gave this mail off to my junior. Yes. Now, my junior, after 3 days, has sent me some random mail. People, we talk daily basis. So, out of the 100 mails he sent, one mail comes to me. This mail comes and says, some attachment is there, and the attachment says FYR. Legal jargon. So jargon called FYR. I look at the mail and like every manager, I ignore it off. Yes, like every manager, I ignore it off. I don't look into the notice itself. Yes, I don't look at the mail. I was like, okay, he would have given something, but chhod diya. I did not look into attention. 5 days later, nothing happened. Sixth day, I get a notice from department says you have not responded. Penalty of 1 crore. My CFO is on my head right now. My CFO is on my head right now. Comes to me and comes and says, Rahul, 1 crore ki penalty. What happened? I'm like, sir, there was a notice which came. I think we forgot to respond. Let me check with my junior because I gave him the responsibility to respond. Yes. I went to my junior and I was like, I have got a 1 crore ka penalty notice. Who's responsible for this? What is wrong here? He's like, sir, if you remember on 16th November 2025, I actually sent you a mail by the title FYR. I'm like, yeah, FYR is for your reference. For your reference means you have done the work. You're just updating me that you've done the work. He comes to me and says, no, no, sir. FIR means for your review. Matlab, I've sent you the document. You have to review and confirm to me that I can file. You did not respond. So I thought the document is wrong and therefore you would have filed it. You would have. Now, people, I am standing before my CFO saying that, sir, I got a mail called FIR. I understood FIR means for your reference and I ignored. He is saying, no, no, FIR means for your review and therefore I am at challenge here. I am at challenge here. Now, CFO is acting like the court of the judge of the court. He needs to make a choice who is, because someone has to pay 1 crore. Someone has to pay 1 crore. Now, Rahul is not giving that 1 crore, no doubts about it. People, you see the genuine issue. Because the problem is now what has happened is FIR is never going to be defined in an act. It's never going to be defined in General Clauses Act. No dictionary has come to this point where they've understood Gen Z language. Which means now you have a jargon which you don't even know the answer to. Yes or no? At this stage, I need to make a choice because CFO has to give a choice. Someone has to pay the 1 crore penalty. I cannot go to income tax department and come and say, sir, on the jargon, nala we missed it. Which means someone has to bear the loss. Yes or no? What happens in this case? Imagine if you are the CFO. I am not paying a single rupee. Why should I pay for it? Galti meri hai nahi. 50 people, 50 lakh is also a big number. Company can pay 1,000 crores. मेरे पास उतना नहीं है. Genuine issue. Genuine issue. Genuine issue. Yes. Here comes your first day understanding people. Something called as customary beliefs. Here comes in customary beliefs, which means now CFO will come and ask a very simple thing. He will go to my whole company and he'll go and tell my company people, every employee, please put a vote. What according to you means FIR? If the most of the votes come as FYR as for your review, Rahul is gone. Rahul is gone. But if the mail comes and says, no, no, FIR is for your reference, it means the junior is gone. Yes or no? Yes. Upward definitions are defined in 5 different ways. Either in section 2, either in General Clauses Act, either in law dictionary, and finally is customary practices. Any doubts about this part? People, you write all the notes with me. Don't worry about it. I'm just giving you thoughts right now. Clear enough? मैं तुम्हें बोला लिखने को. Clear? Yes, yes, yes. Very good. With that understanding, people, I'm going back to my notes. So now I have to start defining what is called section number 2. Now, for those who know, people, when it comes to section number 2, there are certain rules to follow. Rule number 1, it is always given in, very good, it is always given in alphabetical orders. You can't have definitions given randomly. You need to always give it in alphabetical order so that when I read it, I know which alphabet to refer. Which alphabet to refer. People, what am I creating? Fruit law, which means first thing I need to define is fruit. Yes or no? Can I put it as section 2.1? Can I put it as section 2.1? No, I can't put it as 2.1 because 1 is reserved for A. Yes or no? Yes. So I'll think about it. I'll go for 1, 2, F is 6. F is 6. Now I don't know what will come before this, people. I have to do it one by one only. So let's try it as section 2, somewhere called 6, called as fruit. Now I'm going to take this time. People tell me, how do I read this? Section 2, section 2, clause. Why? People read the first one, section 1, subsection 1. This is section 2. No, it won't. उल्टा बोल रहा है. People, you see it? Section 1, we are saying section 1, subsection 1. But when we're saying section 2, we are saying clause 6. Why is that happening? Understand, you're using the word subsection. Sub itself means it's a part of it. It's a part of it, which means when I read subsection 1, subsection 2, subsection 3, I'm reading linking items, items which are connected to each other. But when you look at definitions, I can write definition of India, I can write definition of agriculture, I can write definition of fruit. Do I have to read all of them together? I will read only what I want, which means this is called. Very good. Keep that mind and tell me what is going to happen. If I give you something called 17(1)(a) 6, मैं भी भूल गया. हाँ, let's say double A B 1 3. शायद ज्यादा हो जाएगा. नहीं, ठीक है, ट्राई करते हैं. नहीं, ज्यादा हो जाएगा. हाँ, चलो ये ट्राई करो. शेड्यूल बनना. सब सब क्लास. हाँ. 17, I'm clarifying to you, it's related. People, when you're going to those kind of sections like 17 and all, it's always going to be a linked section. वो सब linked ही रहेगा, obviously. You can't have it under layers. No? There is only one question about relating and unrelating in the first line, which means when you start, you have to understand whether it's subsection or clause. Apart from that, everything else is linked to each other, definitely. Can you read for me, people? Section 17, subsection 1, clause A, subclause 6. Very good. Sub. This is your point where you completed foundation. Let's come to inter. Inter में we call this item 1, sub item 2. It's called item 1 and sub item 2. इसके ऊपर कुछ नहीं होता. इसके ऊपर कुछ नहीं होता. This is the maximum. Yes, this is the maximum that you can go, people. So it's called section 17, subsection 1, clause A, subclause 6, item 1, sub item. Very good. This is what the understanding should be. Clear? Yes. But if I change this a little bit and I start with section 2, then it says section 2. Very good. Clause 3, subclause A, item 1. Very good. This is what the understanding is going to be. Yes or no? Yes. Because sub item के ऊपर जा ही नहीं सकते. We can't go more than sub item. There is no such option to go beyond sub item. Laws are never drafted beyond sub items. This is the maximum you can draft. Yes. This is how the law reads for you. Yes. Now, Rahul, in income tax, where and all are we going to understand whether it is section, subsection or clause? Very simple. You read the section. You read the section, and if the heading of the section says that it is going to be linked to each other, I'm going to use subsections. Whereas if it is not linked, I'm going to use clause. Very good. Simple examples have to give you. Section 2 is clause. Section 2 is clause. And we go forward, people. In income tax, we learn section 10. It's called exemptions section. What section? Exemptions section is basically that section where you will clarify what incomes are not taxable. What incomes are, which means imagine, people, Rahul is doing agriculture, Rahul will look 10(1) only. But if Rahul is a partner in a partnership firm, he will look 10(2) only. He will not read 1 and 2 together. That doesn't make any sense, and therefore it is clauses there. Therefore, it is clauses there. Any doubts on this part? Clear enough to go? Very good. With that understanding, people, we are now going to create a definition for fruit. Here is where the most challenge starts. People, here is where you need to start being very, very careful because, like we discussed on the first class, one small mistake from your side, I will find enormous amount of loopholes, which means you have to now prepare a definition for me, which will be the most authentic definition someone cannot avoid. Yes. So you start making definition. I will start avoiding definitions. Help. Quick. You're the lawmakers, people. You need to be acting fast. Fruit. Every edible item grown naturally in nature with the seed in it. Hey, once. Hey, shh. Understand. People, he's making a law. You have to, hey, listen. When you're making a law, you always start with a generic definition. He's not wrong there. Yes, you will have exceptions. Yes, there are exceptions. Banana and stuff are exceptions. Exceptions are a different conversation. Right now, we are trying to draft a law. When you draft a law, a generic definition is more important. I can't start coming and saying fruit means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes or no? So, yes, I have to start with a generic definition. I'm perfectly fine with that. Yes, let's talk about exceptions later. I will tell you how to draft an exception also. But right now, we are trying to make a definition. Any, I didn't hear it. Wapas. Any edible item grown naturally containing seed in it. Is everyone comfortable with this? Looks good to me. Sure, sure. Question is very simple. Question is very simple. Imagine Rahul. Imagine Rahul has an apple. He's carrying it in his pocket. He's carrying it in his. Very good. Rahul is a. Rahul is a. Read the definition. Rahul is a. क्या बोला था? Edible item. Yes. Rahul is an edible item. Not for myself. Not for myself, but animals do eat me. Can animals eat Rahul? Which means for an animal, Rahul is edible. He did not clarify for whom. He said edible item, which means anyone who can consume me is edible. I am edible enough. I am edible enough. Grown? So this is a tricky part. This is a tricky part because I am man-made, but then technically natural enough. Bhagwan ki den types. Natural enough. Listen. Rahul, edible person, growing naturally. Containing? Rahul के पास है एक apple. Apple has a seed. Am I satisfying all the conditions? Does Rahul look like a fruit to you? Am I wrong? Am I wrong? I have avoided the law perfectly well. Yes or no? Change the definition. Come on. Let's try with this. People, this is a very good definition. We just have to enhance it better now. Just enhance it better right now. Widely found. People, men से ज्यादा वाइड क्या होगा? ह्यूमन से ज्यादा वाइडली क्या होगा? Plant based. Okay. Fruit is. See, either you're questioning my masculinity or you have never heard people being called an item. Sorry? Did you define that? As okay. People, let's work on this. Let's work on this. Fruit, every. It's okay. Let's put it down and then we'll make changes. Every edible item. Every edible item grown naturally. क्या plant based क्या? Containing a seed. containing a seed. हाँ, क्या changes करे people so that this definition makes more sense. That's an exception. That's an exception. We don't talk about specific items with me. Talk about a generic definition. I know there are exceptions. Tomato itself is in question right now. We are going to make this whole law for the purpose of tomato, which means we have to come to that point. Grown naturally does not mean you don't need human intervention. हाँ, हम भी मिट्टी के आदमी हैं. From ish. From very good. So grown naturally on plants में लिख सकता हूँ मैं. Yes. Now don't come and tell me Rahul Tarzan तो वहीं पे पैदा हुआ. Tarzan created a house on a tree. Naturally on plant ही तो लिखा है. From plant नहीं लिखा है. When you say on plant, plant के ऊपर चलेगा. Which means if I create a tree house and I'm born there, I'm still a fruit. It's from plants. Yes, very good. Yes, this is what the definition is. Any doubts on the definition? No. Now I want you to look at this carefully. I've left a word here. I've left a word here because you started fruit every edible. Doesn't make sense. You need to complete the English. You need to complete the English. Fruits is science क्या book लिख रहा है? I heard it somewhere. R no. Very good. One more. और fruit और every कैसे आएगा? Fruit. Very good. Means the second. Next. Yes. People, when you create a law, there are three ways to define any law. There are three ways to define any law. We call it as inclusive definition, we call it as exclusive definition, and we call it exhaustive definition. Yes, whenever you start creating a law, you need to ask yourself, what kind of definition do you want to yourself? Do I want an inclusive definition, an exclusive definition, or I want an exhaustive definition? Read the lines very carefully. Inclusive definition means I am defining something. Something other than that can also be part. I am defining something. Something other than that can also be part. For example, when I say fruit includes, I'm telling this is the generic definition. Something related can also be part of it. Can also be part of it. For those who remember, people in Contract Act, you learned there was a case law about something bag in cars. Memorandum of Association में कोई issue था. Railway compartment का कुछ issue. I forgot the case law name. I don't know, whatever. The case law basically used to use the word Greek word called adjustum generis. Yes, adjustum generis. Basically, what happened is when there was a MOA being drafted, the memorandum of association was being drafted. The memorandum of association they came and said, "I am going to do something like manufacturing of railway wagons and related items." And when they said and related items, case law came and said and related items means it will be part of railway wagons only. You can't do something random, which means something generic next to a specific will take the characteristic from the specific definition. This is what we call as adjustum generis. Adjustum generis means a specific thing will overlap the generic item also. So when I use the word includes, I'm trying to call about adjustum generis, which means I'm saying something containing a fruit is a fruit. Sorry, something containing a seed is a fruit, but something related is also a fruit. Like for example, he said we can make synthetic fruits. We can make synthetic fruits. When I'm saying synthetic fruits, process is going to remain the same. It will have a seed, will be grown naturally, just that it will not be on the land. It may be in a laboratory. It will still be a fruit because I'm using the word includes. Are we making sense? Then comes the definition called exclusive. Exclusive means I am not talking about excludes. Excludes mane. I'm telling these items should not be there. Everything else is a fruit. Everything else is a fruit. So I'm going different now. I'm saying these items should not be taken. Take everything else. Take everything else. Why will we use it? I'll tell you right now. I'll tell you right now. Give me some time. The last one is exhaustive. Exhaustive simply means I'm telling this is what it is. Nothing before, nothing after. This is the only definition. This is the only definition, which means if I don't satisfy this definition, it is not a fruit. It is not a fruit. Tell me which one is the most restricted. Exclusive is the most restricted, because exclusive may you're coming and saying I am going to identify specific set of items. Apart from that, everything else is there. So I need to define those specific items. I need to define those specific items. Second is exhaustive. Exhaustive, I'll tell you, this is what the definition is. इसके ऊपर नहीं जा सकते. You can't go beyond this. And then we have inclusive. Inclusive is the most general one, which means everything else is part of it. Everything else is part of it. How do you write it in laws, people? In law, it always starts with the word includes, excludes. Last one is means. Last one is means. That is how a definition is made. Are we making sense? Yes. I'm giving only one example in definition, people. Everything else will make sense automatically. Yes. So what we are coming to now is we have to decide right now. Fruit. Very good. So we will decide together that I want this to be an inclusive definition, saying it as includes. Saying it as includes. Any doubts on this part? Are we making sense? Good enough. Now, people, I have defined what is a fruit. There may be exceptions. Forget about it. Right now, I've defined what is a fruit. If something is not a fruit, it is a correct. It's a vegetable, which means I now need to define what is a vegetable also. Yes. So I'm going a little down. Let's say after 6, I'm going down to, let's say, 25. I'm going to down to 25, and I'm now writing the word called vegetable. Now comes the same question. Now, vegetable define karna hai. Three options you have: inclusive, exclusive, choices. Why? Very good. People, here is where you have to be extra smart. When you define a law, be very careful that you don't define two opposite things. Because when you start defining two opposite things, I'll find the midway. You define me fruit, you define me vegetable, I'll say बीच में जो है वो fruit नहीं है. Yes or no? Which means I actually want you to find something which is more generic, and therefore opposite things are never defined. Opposite things are always provided as an exclusive definition. Are always provided as an exclusive definition, which means I will say fruit, sorry, vegetable excludes anything referred to as under section under section 2 clause. Very good. Now you understand the law. Yes. So when you read a law like that, people, it makes a lot more sense. Which is why if you read it, you remember company ka definition. Company definition says company is a under Companies Act. Yes. You learn the definition as company means a company which is a company under Companies Act. Yes or no? Yes. And you thought to yourself, what stupidity is this? Because I did not want to understand the definition itself, people. I could not define what is a company. My logic was very simple. If ROC is going to give you an approval, why will he give you the approval? Because you're a, that's why you're a company. Yes or no? Yes. So the definition actually makes sense. It technically does make sense. Just that you did not understand this properly. Are we clear? Yes or no? Yes. At the same time, people, we will learn it in income tax also. There is something called a domestic company and something called a foreign company. Both are opposites. Both are, what will I do? I will define domestic company because I want to pay tax in India. Who's more important to me? Domestic company. So I said I will define domestic company, and foreign company became company which is simple, straightforward. Are we making sense? Yes. That is how laws are made, people, and that's how the law looks better. That's how the law looks better. So which means when I make vegetable, I will say vegetable means anything other than fruit, anything other than fruit, and so on and so forth. So on and so forth. Yes, fruit, so on and so forth. That is how the definition will read. Like, any doubts on this part? Yes. With this, we're done with section number 2. With section number 2 being done, people, I have a certain problem right now. Like he rightly said, banana is an issue. Banana is an, my whole point of tomato is not considered right now. Yes, which means all those things have to be discussed right now, because right now fruit में anything containing seed becomes tomato also. जो मेरे को नहीं चाहिए, जो मेरे को नहीं चाहिए. Now you can try with one thing, people. You can come and say fruit includes so and so, excluding tomatoes. You can do that. You can do that definitely. But the problem what will happen is when you say excluding tomatoes, then you will have a list of items. Lady finger आ गया. Yes or no? With all those issues coming up, people, I cannot come and keep expanding my English. Yes or no? Which means I now need to create an exception. I now need to create an exception. Now understand this carefully, people. When I'm creating an exception, which should have priority? Section, clause, or the exception? When I'm creating an exception, exception should have priority or clause should have priority? Okay, let me put it this way to you. I want tomato to become a. I want tomato to become a. Looking at clause 6, tomato is a fruit. Apo, I need to override this. I need to override this. Apo, for overriding people in law terms, we use something called as. I heard somewhere. Very good. We bring in something called as proviso. Proviso is basically exceptions. As much as you learned in 10th standard people, a subject called chemistry, every time you learn something, there is an exception coming to it. Exceptions are notified by introducing something called provisos. Proviso, basically an exception to the main rule, is basically an exception to the main rule. How do you read a proviso, people? How do you know it's a proviso? Where does it start? Very good. It starts with the word provided that. When you use the word provided, provided itself means that this is not a, this is not a rule to be applied. This is not a rule to be applied. So I will now come and say, provided that anything that is termed as tomatoes should not be called as fruit. Correct? Huh? Correct? Huh? Yes. So I will now say, provided that anything that is termed as tomatoes will not be called as fruit. The moment I said that, provided became super. Yes, provided became superior, which means now when I read, I will first read the proviso. When proviso does not have it, then I'll read the clause. Correct, not correct. Up which one is superior, people? Very good. Proviso is superior. Any doubts on this part? Are we clear enough? Yes. So tomato is done. My job is done. Now I want to bring in your job. Banana fruit में चाहिए नहीं चाहिए? You make a choice. You're the lawmaker. चाहिए. Now you want it to be a fruit. Yes or no? Which means now I need to introduce something extra. I know. Need to introduce something extra. Is this an exception? No, because if you tell an exception, fruit का exception आ जाएगा. It'll become an exception of fruit. I don't want it to not be fruit. I want it to be a fruit. I want it to be a. I will introduce. Provided further will become an exception. I will now introduce something called as explanations. I will now introduce something called as explanations. Have you seen it in laws? Yes, there is something called explanation 1, explanation 2, explanation 3. Yes, so what will I say? Explanation number 1. For the purpose of this clause, for the purpose of this clause, fruit will also deem to include bananas in it. Bananas in it. Yes or no? Yes or no? That is how the definition will be. Which means explanation helps you expand the scope. Proviso helps you. Proviso helps you restrict the scope. Helps you restrict the scope. Yes or no? Yes. This is how the law is made, people. So, which means now, if you have understood this, you have technically understood the whole law. Because in the whole law, this is what is going to happen. Every section you go will have the same thing. They will either have a subsection, they will either have a clause, and every subsection or clause will probably have a proviso and an explanation. Are we making sense? Any doubts on this part? Very good. People, three words I've given to you. Yes, one is the clause, one is the proviso, one is the explanation. Tell me the order of priority. Provided is first. Provided is first. Very good. Clause is second. Explanation is third. People, unless the clause does not make sense, how will explanation come into picture? Which means if the clause itself did not apply, it automatically becomes vegetable. Apo, what is the point of going to explanation? Yes or no? Yes. Apo, first priority is provided clause. Very good. Now you're understanding the law properly. Yes or no? Yes. So this is how a law reads. Like, any doubts on the law? No. With this, we're done with section number 2, definition sections. You will have list of items going in. Anything, whatever you do, going forward, whatever law you make, every law killer, if you don't understand the word, you'll start putting it in section number 2. You'll start putting it in section number 2. Any doubts on this? Yes. So we've done two things, people. Section 1, which talks about title, extent, and commencement. Section number 2 gives you generic definitions. Generic definitions. Now brings the whole point. I now need to start making the law. I now need to start making the law, which means I will start with section number. Very good. What is section number 3? People, did you make this law only to make definitions? You made this law to come and tell people that going forward, no bloody person should use tomato as a yes or no. Yes, Apo, somewhere you need to put that out. Somewhere you need to put that out, which means the intention of the law has to be brought in. Intention of the law will be brought in section number. If you know this, we call it the charging section. We call it the charging section of a law. Basically means the section which comes and tells you why this law is there. Why this law is there, or in simple words, if I have to clarify to you, this is the mother section. What section? Which means if something does not fall into this section, it is not even part of that. It is not even part of that, and therefore every act will always have this word called as section number 3 or section number 4 called as charge of income tax, charge of fruit, charge of companies, stuff like that. Stuff like that. Every act will have it for a purpose, because you cannot start a law without having a charging section. Any doubts on this? Yes. So I'm going to do the same thing, people. I'm going to now create section number 3. Section number 3 will say charge of fruit, where I'll now start writing a word. Now I'm writing section 3, linked items, which means it is going to be subsection. So I'll write 3 subsection 1, which will say, what do I want? Do I want tomato to not be a fruit? What do I want? People, if I wanted tomato to be specifically highlighted, I could have not written fruit act. I could have written tomato act. No, yeah. Definition is only to define. You can't give a charge there. Yes or no? What will I say, people? Going forward, with effect from the enforcement of this act, every person should refer fruit for the purpose of calling out. For the purpose of calling out. People, I don't want tomato, because see, that becomes very specific now. So I will say, going forward, everyone should only refer this act for the purpose of defining what is a fruit. When I say that, it automatically means that going forward, someone should not use tomato as a vegetable. Why am I keeping it generic? Because kal ko jaake you'll fight with something else also. You'll come and say, Rao, lady finger bhi to hai. Yes or no? Yes, Appa, I don't want to specify and restrict myself to tomatoes. I also want to have other things in mind. So what will I say? Section 3 will come and say, going forward with enforcement of this act, any person should refer the definition of fruits from this act. Poro. You don't need to read section 2, because this act itself means, where will you check? 2 only. You'll check 2 only. Any doubts on this part? No. So people, 3 minute all diya. I put 3. 3 comes and gives you the charging section. I've told you what you should do. We are Indians. First question we'll ask is, तू बोलता रहे, what will happen if I correct, not correct? Yes. Therefore, people, what happens after the whole section is drafted? You have 3, 4, 5, 6. Imagine 10 sections you've created. 11th section, you always need to make sure that 10 prosecution punishment is defined. A prosecution punishment is defined, which means now I will need to introduce a penal consequence. The penal consequence will come and say, if this act is violated, a person will be levied penalty to a sum of 50 lakhs. जायदाद ही लगी है. To a sum of your choice. You're the lawmaker. 4 crore बोल, क्या फर्क पड़ता है? 1,000 rupees. अरे बाप रे. 1,000 rupees. I would pay 1,000 better. No. Why would I go to jail? 50,000. Okay, let's work with this. Yes, for any kind of default happening by you under this act, I will levy a penalty of per. खरीदने क्या जा रहा है? People are making a mistake. Mistake can happen once. Mistake can happen forever. Mistake can happen per day. So you are saying 50,000 per default, per day, per month, per year, per. Yes or no? I would say 50,000 per default, because today when I go to the market and I say tomato is a fruit, you will say 50,000 penalty. Yes or no? Yes, that is what I will do. So I will tell it is going to levy a penalty of 50,000 per default. Very good. Yes. Now people, imagine you're Ambani. You want to give 50,000. Not a big deal. We'll give it just like that. Yes or no? Yes. Apo, for these kind of people, have to be a little more stricter. Huh? Maximum People, I could rather come and say, first time mistake, second time you're being, you're being, you're being wanted. Yes or no? Yes, yes or no? Yes. I always tell this one thing in life, people. When ish, I always tell, first time you make a mistake, second time it's a crime, third time you should be hanged to death. I tell this for my class. Yes, matlab when I start teaching you the subject, first time I will allow, second time crime ही है, third time attempt गया, third time attempt गया. Yes, so you will start making those kind of mistakes and I will tell you कब तुम्हारा attempt जाएगा. Right, don't make that mistake, don't make that mistake. Point is, people, very simple. Now I have to now introduce a double consequence. Yes, so in this case what will I do? I know this guy will not be bothered about his money, but he'll be bothered when I put him in. Correct. So now I will introduce another section. This section will not talk about prosecution. Kya? You know what is prosecution? Prosecution is the fancy word of saying jail. It's a fancy word of saying jail. When you go to a law, no law will use the word jail and all. Law will use the word prosecution. Law will use the word prosecution. Yes. So I'm now going to introduce a section where I'll come and say where a person is continuing the default. Where a person is continuing the default on a subsequent default, I can also levy imprisonment for a period of, see, 1 month, 30 days, 30 days, or as may be agreed by the officer, or as may be agreed by the officer. This is what the scenario is. Any doubts on the scenario? Yes. So हमने कर लिया 5 sections now. We have done section 1, we have done section 2, we have done section 3, which is charging, section 4, which is penalty, section 5, which is prosecution. Yes, we have done 5 sections for you right now. The wordings, the language may be different, the number sequence may be different, but this is what the law is. Yes or no? Yes. अब problem ये हो गया ना, people. Amani went one day. He went to the market. He went to the market. He was trying to buy some things. Yes, so he was buying a tomato, and when he was buying a tomato, that other guy, unfortunately, galti se usne, by the practice, he told it as fruit. By the practice, he told it as fruit. Amani immediately said 50,000 penalty. Now, people, this guy is bound. Unfortunate enough. Yes, an issue is he is a unsound mind person facing dyslexic behaviors and everything. Yes, which means unfortunately, generic issues ke chakkar mein, he was not able to change his language. Change his language. Tell me, people, this guy, second default, should I put him in jail? Should give him a chance. Which means these are all genuine issues. Yes, genuine issues. May should I put someone in jail? No. Which means I now need to give you an opportunity also to come and justify your case. To come and justify your case. Correct? Not correct. But the problem is, people, section 5 has clarified कि गलती करते penalty jail ही है. Which means I now need to introduce a section which should come and say section 5 will sometimes not apply. Section 5 will sometimes, I should come and say, some section should come and say section 5 will not apply if there is a genuine issue. If there is a genuine issue. Up the problem is, people, I am now going to introduce section 6, where section 6 will come and say section 5 provisions will not apply if the person is of unsound mind, if the person gives me a clarification, if the person comes to the officer and explains what is the issue, if the person files a form and clarifies what is the trouble here. All those things can happen. Correct? Not correct? Yes. But read this carefully, people. You are the lawmaker. You first read section 5 or section 6? You read 5. 5 देखते you came and said jail चलो. तुम section 6 तक घुसे ही नहीं. As a lawmaker, what did you do? You read section 5 and you said Rahul jail ही है. He's like, sir, section 6 तो है. I'm like, but section 5 तो पहले आया. Yes or no? Which means you have to now clarify section 6 is superior. Section 6 is superior to section. Order of priority आ गया. Order of priority section 6. After that is section. Very good. Section 6 को superior करो, कैसे करें? How do you make section 6 superior? मैंने सेक्शन 5 बना दिया ऑलरेडी, मेरे को सेक्शन 6 को सुपीरियर करना है. You would have learned this, for sure you would have learned this in foundation. तुमको बस याद नहीं है. Nope. No idea. Nope. 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 No idea. No idea. No idea. People, I'll give you the English. Complete it off for me. It starts with saying notwithstanding anything. सब पढ़ा हुआ है, बस याद नहीं है. Yes, it's called notwithstanding anything contrary contained in section 5, a person will not be levied imprisonment if he can explain these issues to me, which means section 6 has now become superior because I use the word notwithstanding. Notwithstanding matlab section 6 is now superior. Now when I use notwithstanding, I can use my choice. Here I said notwithstanding anything contained in section 5, which means 6 is superior to 5. It is not superior to others. I can say notwithstanding anything contained in this chapter, which means everything in that chapter can become superior. I can say notwithstanding anything contained in this act, in which case I will be the most superior section. I'll be the most superior section. I can sometimes also say notwithstanding anything contained in that act, which means I am superior than. Exactly. Yes or no? For those who know, people, Sale of Goods Act comes and says shares and securities are goods. It says sales of shares and securities are goods. Now the problems people imagine I have shares. I'm going to sell it in the market. Am I doing a revenue transaction or a capital transaction? But the problem is Sale of Goods Act says it's a good. The moment you said it is good, it's a revenue transaction. Therefore, most of the acts will come and say, notwithstanding anything contained in SOGA. SOGA. Notwithstanding anything contained in SOGA, shares are not treated as goods. Shares are treated as investments. Shares are treated as investments, which means this act now overrides. You understand what is happening? Yes, this in law terms are called as non-obstante clauses. What are they called? Non-obstante clauses. Non-obstante clauses basically means that this clause is superior than every other provision. Is superior than every other provision. And that brings the last one, the one which he said, people, I can have an alternate way to do it. I can use something called subject to the provisions. Now I told I want superior to 6. I can also make inferior of 5, which means either rather than going from 6 being superior, I can come and say let's make 5 inferior. How do you make 5 inferior? By using the word subject to the provisions of section 6. When I use the word subject to the provisions of section 6, I am saying 5 is now you understand things. Yes or no? Yes. So क्या क्या हमने पढ़ लिया? We have understood section 1, we have understood section 2, definitions. When you create definitions, there are 3 types of definitions: inclusive, exclusive. Very good. Every provision will have something called as a proviso. Proviso is an exception. Proviso is an exception. You want to expand the definition, we use explanations. Definitions are always given in section 2, alphabetical sequence. Alphabetical sequence. Section 2 will always start with clauses. Will always start with clauses. Every law will have a charging section. Will have a charging section. Will have some penal consequences. May also have prosecution clauses, but sometimes you need to give them an opportunity. So you start with notwithstanding anything contained contrary in that section. In that section, if you want to make something inferior, you start with. Very good. Yes. Now, as a legislative body, you have done the law. You have done the law. This is your law. Yes. You have brought this law. This is now in your hand. Yes. You have prepared it along with me. You have prepared along with me. There is a problem in this law. Only one issue. You are the legislative body. You drafted the law. You told kya karna hai. You told what to do. You still did not tell how to do, because you should not tell that also. You should go and tell some other ministry will take care. A department will be created called a fruit department. We'll now create a fruit department where the fruit department will take the charge. But people, fruit department has to be created. To create the fruit department, you need a law. You need a law. Yes or no? To create a department, you need a law. He's not wrong. Listen to me. Listen to me. To need a department, you need to create a law. People, will I create a new law to create a department itself? I already have this one. What will I do? I will put another section in this. I will put another section in this. Last section will come and say the act gives authority to fruit board to become the administrative body in order to create rules, circulars. Very good. Yes or no? Yes, which means act will now give powers to a department or a board to create rules. To create, people question what is superior, act or rules? What is superior, act or rules? कैसे पता? Why? Act ही नहीं ना. சரி. Very good. People understand this carefully. Understand this carefully. When I created an act, act told you what to do. Rules tell you to do something. You need to know what to do. Something you need to know. मेरे को पता ही नहीं तो मैं क्या करूंगा? Yes or no? Yes, I can't do something random, which means rules are inferior to an act. Act will tell you what to do. Rules will tell you how to do it. Rules will tell you how to do it, and therefore, what will happen, people? I will now create a document. This document will be called as fruit bill. Will be called as fruit bill. I will go submit it in the parliament. In this parliament bill, I've also submitted saying that I want a fruit department, which means I will separately now create a fruit department who will start making rules. Will start making rules. Rules will look the same. Copy paste. Copy paste. No change in the rules. All rules will remain the same. There is only two changes. We will start with saying fruit rules. We'll say fruit rules. And second is wherever you use the word section. Now I will use the word rule. I will use the word rule, which means now it is not section 1, section 2, section 3. It is rule 1, rule 2, rule 3, sub rule 1, sub rule 2, sub rule 3. Difference number 3 is that in rules, you can never have direct jump to clauses. Can never happen. Every rule will have a rule and a sub rule very logically. Why? Because you are going to create a rule for every specific item. Up everything is going to be related to each other, which means you can never have a you will have a clause, you'll never have a direct clause. You'll never have a any doubts on this part. Good enough to go. Yes, let me submit the act of people. Let me submit the act. So we have now made a bill. We are all very proud that we have made a bill for each other. Yes, we have taken this bill, gone to the parliament as the Department of Agriculture, as the Department of Agriculture, and we have stood before the parliament and we have come and said, dear parliament, I am now proposing something called as a fruit, which I would like your approvals, which I would like your approvals. Where am I standing? I'm standing in the very good. We are standing in the Lok Sabha. We're standing in the Lok Sabha. Department is sitting in the Lok Sabha, which means I sit in the Lok Sabha. I will submit the bill and I'll come and say, please approve. Please approve. At this stage, two things will happen. One, they will break chairs. One, they will start with breaking chairs. Yes, two, three people will stand up. Nahi chahiye karke, they'll break chairs. Yes, the other set of people will come and say, let's approve or reject. Let's approve or reject, which means majority today, at least people, it's not a problem because BJP is the one sitting in most of the seats, which means everything passed is always approved. They never changed. They never changed. But at this stage, people, when I create a bill, I will also have some time for making changes. So when I introduce it, I will also circulate it in the market. Every other person, including you and me, as a qualified chartered accountant, will be given this bill and will be informed that this is the new law which is being created. Do you have any suggestions? We can look into it and we can suggest, sir, definition maybe a mistake, this word is wrong, this English is wrong, all that things can happen. With that, the law will be updated, bill will be updated, again submitted in Lok Sabha. This time it will get passed. Once it gets passed, it hits Rajya Sabha. Rajya Sabha will either approve it, reject it. They cannot suggest anything. They cannot suggest anything. They can either approve it, reject it, or send it back. Send it back. They will come and say, boss, we didn't like it. Make these changes, send it back. Yes. So they will again send it back to Lok Sabha. Lok Sabha will again make the changes and bring it back again, which means Rajya Sabha will either approve, reject, send it back. Yes. At this stage, imagine if Rajya Sabha approves it. It goes and sits in. It goes and sits in. Very good. President of India is Draupadi Murmura. Yes, the people, I did not make the name. What am I? Yes, so it sits in the president's office for for assent for assent. People, I want you to understand this. Lok Sabha, we said approve. President, we are saying, is this the same word? Same word? What is the difference? President, president assent means that is approval. No, approval तो no होता है ना. Assent means signature of the president. माने Okay, let me put it this way to you people. Assent basically means approval. Basically means approval, not the approval you are talking about. Approval as in deemed approved. Deemed approved, which means basically means once Rajya Sabha approves it, it is already an act. It is just waiting for signatures. It is just waiting for signatures, which means in technical words, president does not have the power to reject. It does not have the power to send it back also. It can only come and sign it. It can only come and sign it, which means president literally, like he said, is a dummy body. Is a dummy body. In India, there is only one person ruling the party. Modi is around. Yes, Modi is the only one there. Everyone else is a dummy figure sitting around him. No one is having any authorities, including the president. Including the president. President can only sign. उसके अलावा कुछ नहीं कर सकता. Now imagine people, imagine I am the president. I looked at this bill. I was like, what stupidity are you making? I didn't like it. मैं नहीं करता sign. I'm not going to sign. I'm not. Who has the powers to resign me? I am the person signing my own engagement letter. किसको resign करवाएगा तू? Yes, yes. Election Commission determines the party, not the people. Yes, yes. So the problem what has happened to people is that I am right now the president. I have been informed that I have to sign this, and I've been given 14 days. That's a practice. That's a practice. I've been given 14 days. 2 weeks time is in my hand for me to sign it. For me to, I don't like the bill. I'm like, मेरे को reject तो नहीं कर पा रहा. At least let me not sign it. Let me not sign it. 14 days I'm sitting on it. Yes, every day someone comes and says, "Ma'am, approve, ma'am, approve, ma'am, approve." I'm like, नहीं करता मैं. जो करना है कर ले. जो करना है कर ले. People, I'm murmura right now. Don't question. Yes, yes, yes. So I am saying I will not sign. I'm not signing. 14 days हो गया. 14 days time limit is also crossed. क्या करें? Very good. Sorry, the Constitution of India comes and says president is given 14 days to sign. If the president does not sign it in 14 days, 15th day it is assumed signed off. It is assumed signed off. Matlab act becomes applicable. Act becomes applicable. I know, Gen Z question. I know Gen Z question. Rahul, फिर why are you keeping the person itself? Yes, two reasons. Two reasons. Reason number one, if I sign it today, it becomes applicable from today itself. But if I don't sign it, 15 days wait हो गया. Issue number one. Issue number two is very simple. Why are you having this person itself? You could have might as well not had the person. People, very simple. You would have learned it in your economics, not economics, civics. You've learned it in civics. A president is called as your first citizen of India. What does that mean? Very simple. People, imagine घर में शादी है. There is a wedding at home. First blessing. First blessing will be taken from the senior most person. You'll go to your dada dadi जो भी जिंदा है. Yes, you'll go to that person. क्या हुआ? You'll go to your grandparents. उनके ऊपर कोई है तो someone there. Yes, you'll go to that person and come and say, we are getting married. We need your blessing. People, imagine if that day that person comes and says, I did not like the wedding, cancel कर दो. मानोगे तुम लोग? Which means you are following Indian traditions. You will come and say, we are here only to get blessings, not to ask your permission, not to ask your people. Today Gen Z is like that only. Yes or no? Today Gen Z is like that only. Yes, एक दिन घर पे मम्मी this is my boyfriend. आपको हाँ तो हाँ, नहीं तो मैं घर से बाहर. People, I did not specify who I am. मैं कोई भी हो सकता हूँ. बगल वाला बॉयफ्रेंड है खाली. तुम समझे नहीं, छोड़ दो. Yes, point is very simple, people. At this stage, you have to understand the fact that Indian tradition has always been built on the fact that every good thing happens with the blessing of the eldermost person, right? Which means they only give blessings to you. They don't give you approvals. They don't give you approvals, and therefore, Constitution of India goes by customary belief. Customary belief coming and saying President is the first citizen of India. Assumed that the person is the oldest person living in India. By that logic, President has been told as my great 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 grandfather, to whom I'm going and getting my blessings, which means his blessing is by signature. His blessing is by signature. He gives me the blessing, my matter is over. My matter is over. I will pass the law. I will pass the law. If he does not give me the signature, I'll be like, okay, assumed dead. Proceed forward. Technically, people. Yes on. Yes. People, if the person is not responding, what will you say? Yes. So you say assumed deemed approval and then proceed forward. That is how a law is made of. That is how a law is made of. Once you make that act, people, the act gets published in the official gazette of India. The moment it gets passed in the official gazette of India, it becomes applicable to the respective person, whoever is given in this. Which means in my law, I said it is applicable to the whole of India. It becomes applicable to the. Very good. With this act getting implemented, now my department comes into picture. Department will now create its own fruit rules. Fruit rules will go through the same process. The only difference, it will not go through the parliament. No, because in a fruit process, my department or a head, my fruit department will have a super boss. I will go to the super boss. I'll come and say, "Sir, sign." If he signs, rule is passed. Rule is passed. Now here is the question, Rahul. Why did you have to create a rule? You could have might as well put that in the law itself. No, to do how you can also put that in the law itself. I could have come and told in the law also, go pay, do this, go file here and all. Why should I have to introduce a rule for it? Yes or no? Yes. If you need a specialized body, you can call those people, bring them to parliament and pass it in the law itself. What is the issue? Why did you have to create a new law for it? Not really. Problem is very simple, people. In India, parliament only runs two times. One is summer session, one is winter session. One is called summer session, one is called winter session, which means shh, every law in India is only passed twice. Because if you have to understand, people, every person sitting in the Lok Sabha is not from Delhi. They're traveling from every state. You can't keep calling them every second day to travel from their state and come to Lok Sabha. Yes, which is why in India, all laws are made only twice, in the Lok Sabha session and in the in the winter session and in the summer session. Imagine, people, suddenly what has happened? 30th November is my due date for return filing. I am not able to file the return. बहुत कोशिश किया, पोर्टल ही नहीं चल रहा. Can I immediately call Nirmala ma'am, set up a meeting, go and change the law? It's not possible. At this stage, what will I do? I will go and tell the Department of CBDT that, sir, I have a problem. Please help. He can immediately sign and approve it off. Matter becomes easy, matter becomes faster. Yes or no? Yes. Which is why rules are there, people, because rules help you do things faster, but at the same time, rule cannot introduce a law. Rule can only administer a law. Any doubts on this part? Are we clear? Yes. With this, people, you have now officially made a act and a rules. Act and a rules. Any doubts on this part? Are we clear? Very good. Good. Let's do one thing. Let's take a short. Let's take a short break. We'll come back and we'll discuss the balance. Yes. All right. People, last topic of introduction and we're done with this. Yes. And then we can start doing income tax properly from next class. Yes. So we're done with this. We are quickly revising what we have discussed till now. We have discussed about the fact that when it comes to sections, when it comes to laws, when it comes to creating a law, you need to have multiple components. We started with creating an act. Yes, we started creating an act where the act starts with section 1, section 2, charging sections, penalty sections, prosecution sections, something's called non-obstante clauses, something called subject to clauses. Every section is drafted by the way of section, subsection, clause, subclause, item, sub-item. In a few cases, it will start from section, directly go to clause. Will directly go to clause. Every kind of definitions or any kind of provisions for that matter is always having three components in it. One will be the main law, then there'll be something called provisos, then there'll be something called explanations. Very good. Whenever you try to define something in income tax, we'll have three kinds of definitions coming in. One is called inclusive definition, exclusive definition, exhaustive definition. These are the three definitions which we'll be using for your income tax purposes. Apart from that, an act will always have to give powers to authority for creating rules. For creating rules will be created by the authority and therefore will be passed by the department as it is. Yes or no? Yes. We already discussed in the last class, people. In income tax, at least, the department is called as CBDT, Central Board of. Very good. It's called Central Board of Direct Taxes. That is authority which makes the law in India for income tax purposes. Clear? Yes. Very good. We have to discuss on circulars and notifications, people, but we'll come to that later. We'll come to that later. अभी तक हम लोग ने जितना भी किया, let's note that down and let's close with that. Yes. Yes. Good. If you have your notes, let's take that notes out. Achha, you didn't get a confirmation, is it? Let's do it in the next class, and it's okay. Yes. Let me talk about the last thing then. Let me talk about the last thing then, and we close with that. Yes, let's understand this carefully. Shh. Let's understand this carefully, people. At this stage, we are done with creating the act. At this stage, we're done with creating the rules. What is pending is three more items called as circulars. Very good. We have circulars, we have notifications, and we have case laws. Now, I do understand you don't remember what is circulars notification, so let me help with this. Let me help with this. Let me put a simple example in front of you people. You tell me what is the right answer. Yes, the example is like this. Imagine a case where what is happening is I'm going to create a diagram for you. Yes, I'm going to create a diagram. The diagram may basically something like this is happening. मेरे को बोर मार रहा है. This is the diagram. Yes, people. I'll give you chances one by one. Tell me what do you think this is? Sparkling water. अच्छा, अमीरों की खानदान. हाँ, स्पार्कलिंग वाटर. ठीक है, नेक्स्ट. इंसेक्ट. पीपल, हर देखी हुई चीज क्रीपी नहीं होती. हाँ ठीक है, इंसेक्ट है ना वाटर. कौन सा? कौन सा? ब्लू कलर का कौन सा इंसेक्ट होता है? अच्छा, स्पेसिफिक्स में घुसेगी. हाँ, डाइविंग बोर्ड. नीचे वाला क्या है? अच्छा, वाटर पूल विद अ स्लाइड. बहुत रिस्की स्लाइड है पीपल, एकदम स्ट्रेट नीचे जा रहा है. वेल. वेल. जूस. है ना जूस. ब्लू बेरी नहीं होता, ब्लू लकून होता है. ब्लू बेरी तो ब्लैक होता है. ब्लू लकून बोलते हैं ना उसको. ब्लू क्या? ब्लू कोरैको. अच्छा, ब्लू कोरैको. और क्विक. एनी अदर इमेजिनेशंस? घर के ऊपर. घर कहाँ है? टैंक कहाँ है? वेयर इज द हाउस? रेन वाटर हार्वेस्टिंग. वही वो गरीबों का वो बेसिकली. एनीथिंग एल्स? Anything else? Anything else? Yes, yes, yes. Now, people, very simple question. Very simple question. I gave you one image. I gave you one image. You came up with five different answers. Came up with five different answers. वो पांचवा में आ गया ना गरीब वाला. ए, वेल वाला नहीं रे. उसको गरीब नहीं बोल रहा. वेल. What is wrong with you people? पाओ वो बेचारा वो. People, the idea is गरीब. He is not गरीब. He did people. Chalo. Imagine there are one diagram, five images. Sorry, there is one image, five understandings from your side. Five understandings from your side. Yes. At no point of time did you come and tell me, Rahul, ये क्या है? ये एक image है तो image ही. कुछ भी रख ले. Yes or no? Yes. At any point of time, people, first thing which मैं आपको starting में क्या बोला? I'm creating an image for you. मतलब है तो ये image ही ना. Yes or no? Yes. The point is very simple. Imagine this very simple example. Imagine we are all part of the department. You're all with me along in the fruit department. Along with me in the fruit department. Every one of you will be staying in Chennai or will be traveling different places. Different places. So I've allocated every single one a different state. All of you are going to be part of one state. Yes. Now in that states, people, what is going to happen? You're going to act as the boss. You're going to act as the officer. Yes. Now imagine Rahul. Imagine Rahul. Rahul is going to go to every single state and set up a factory. In every factory setup, I'm going to start manufacturing this. I don't know what it is, but I'm going to manufacture this. Yes. Now, taste and all is a secondary thing, people, because taste will come when I start manufacturing. Before I start manufacturing, I need to get approvals. So what I did, I came to every one of you one by one, and I said, sir, this is what I'm starting to manufacture. I need your approvals. I need your approvals. Now, in certain cases, you came and said, Rahul looks like sparkling water, necessity of India, therefore take it forward, approve, take it forward. That state says you can do it. You can do it. Another state comes and says this is water pool with a slide. Yes, the slide looks very steep, which means the person doing the slide will automatically fall to the ground and death only. Yes or no? So you said this is a very risky intention. I will not approve. You said rejected. You said rejected. Case number three. Well, good for India, helping the poor society. Therefore, approved. Scenario number four. पता नहीं क्या होता है मेरे को टेस्ट ही अच्छा नहीं लगता. Yes, I don't like the taste. Therefore, not approved. Not approved. And 5-1 is image. I am telling you, boss, you have not even brought the final product to me. You bring the final product, then we'll discuss. Therefore, rejected. Therefore, rejected. Now look at the simple example, people. One image, one scenario, going to different states, getting different answers. Is the problem with me? Problem is with you only. The problem is not with me, people. The problem is with you. Why are you people the problem? Because you are all part of the same department. Everyone should talk the same language. I'm going to every state. You are telling me different English. Now it becomes a problem for me. First of all, you people should be aligned with each other. True or false? Which means problem is not with me. The problem is with you. You people have to correct yourself and come and tell me one single answer, and that's how I'll proceed. Yes or no? It's a very beautiful example, people. Think about this. Imagine I'm not having a good stomach today. Yes, my stomach is paining. I go to a doctor. One doctor comes and says, "Kuch nahi, stomach ache. 2 days you wait. Third day you'll get well." Yes, I wait till 3 days. Nothing happens, and therefore I'll go to that doctor again. No, I'll go to another doctor this time. I don't trust this guy anymore. So I go to another doctor. I come and say, "Sir, stomach is paining. Kya kare?" Sure. This doctor comes and says, no, no, you should have actually come in soon here. This is an acidity issue. No problems. I'm giving you some antacids. Take the antacids. You'll be get fine. You'll get fine. 2 days I take antacids. Nothing happens. I go to the third doctor. Yes. This third doctor comes and says, Beta, you should have come 4 days ago. Had you come to me 4 days ago, I would have told you this is food poisoning. This is food poisoning. But no worries. You will still live. Take this medicine. You will be fine. You'll be fine. 2 days I try. Nothing happens. I go to Doctor 4. I go to Doctor 4. This doctor comes and says, Beta, who told you this is food poisoning? This is more serious. तुम्हें हो गया है कैंसर. तुम्हें हो गया कैंसर, स्टमक कैंसर, स्टमक. मेरा स्टोरी मेरे को बोलने दो, चलेगा. Yes. The doctor comes and says, this is a stomach cancer. We will have to take out your stomach. We'll have to take out your stomach. सर्जरी होती है, stomach निकाल देते हैं, पेन नहीं जा रहा. Yes, I have took out my complete stomach, but still there is pain in it. Still there is pain in it. At this point of time, I'm very scared right now. Stomach भी चला गया, pain भी still है. Problem कहाँ पे पता नहीं. Yes, then I go to a super specialist. I go to a super specialist. I'm like, sir, pain is still there. Stomach is also not there. What is the issue? What is the issue? He's like, Rahul, तुम्हें हो गया है AIDS. तुम्हें हो गया है AIDS. You have 2 more days to live. You have 2 more days to live, and this is the news I should have told you 5 days ago. मतलब basically time हो गया. Basically time हो गया. Now imagine this very simple example, people. Same stomach pain, same doctors, same profession. Everyone learned the same thing. Why is there different answers coming in? Yes or no? Yes or no? Problem is with me or problem is with the doctors? Same example. Think about it. Imagine there is an issue going on in income tax. Rahul is running a factory in all states of India. I go to one state and I come and say, this is the answer. I go to another state, the officer says, no, no, this is wrong. I go to third state, he comes and says, those people to fraud mein pass hue. I am the correct officer. I will tell you the right answer. It starts causing problems to me. At this stage, I will get super pissed off. I will go to every officer and come and say, sir, what is wrong with you people? I want to talk to your boss. I want to talk to your boss. People, every officer's boss is sitting in 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 CBDT. Yes, I am on officers of the board, which means my super boss is sitting in CBDT. What will I do? I'll immediately go and tell the CBDT, sir, see, sir, something is wrong with your officers. Every officer talks a different language. You are their boss. I have a small request. Please give them guidance. Please give them guidance. What will the boss do? Boss will prepare a document. He will come and look at my document now. And he'll come and say, Beta, based on my understanding, this image looks like well, and therefore approved and take forward. Approved and take forward. Now, people, I have a document in my hand, right from CBDT document. I go and show the officer and I come and say, Sir, see, sir, your boss comes and says, This is a well, I need approval. Can he come and say, No, no, for me, it looks like blue Coraco? He will have to approve it. I go to the second officer, I come and say, Sir, this is the approval. It says well. He will say, Approved. Yes or no? Upon the moment I am having a problem, I am immediately approaching the super boss. Super boss gives me an answer that becomes finality. That becomes finality. Apo, look and tell me this carefully, people. The image, the confirmation of the image was given by CBDT. Was given by CBDT. For me, for the officers, for the officers. Apo, this is more binding on the officers. More binding on the officers. Can an officer say no? I don't accept. He can't do that. Yes or no? Yes. People, for those who remember this, when you were in school times, when you're in school times, suddenly one maid will come, one peon will come. He'll come and take a paper. That paper he'll go and immediately give it to your ma'am. Ma'am will look at it. Ma'am will sign some register and give it back. You will be excited. Ma'am, क्या है? Ma'am, क्या है? Ma'am, क्या है? She will tell you. नहीं बताएगी. She will not tell you because she'll be like, this is straight from the principal. Only for the teachers. Only for the teachers. That document, if you actually saw, heading would say circulars. Heading would say circulars. Circulars is basically a document given by the boss to their subordinates, applicable only for the. Now imagine this example. Imagine this example. CBDT, when I went and asked for an approval, CBDT came and said, boss, this is actually blue Coraco. Now, when CBDT came and said it's blue Coraco, every officer is going to say blue Coraco. I am not happy. No, I am the assessee. I am the individual. I am not happy with CBDT's decision. Will I have to follow? I can file a case. People, at the end of the day, the person sitting in CBDT is also a guy only. Yes or no? The person sitting there also may have a difference of thought. In which case, I can go and file a case and I can go and tell the court, dear court, CBDT is also wrong. This is not a blue Coraco. I want a different opinion. I want a different opinion. Apo, think about this, people. When blue Coraco was confirmed, it was only confirmed for the officers. It was not confirmed for. I can choose to ignore it. I can choose to, which means circulars are always binding only on the officers. Are only binding on the officers. Are not binding on general public. Are not binding on. Agreed, not agreed. Which is why, people, when the principal gave a circular, circular was only referred by the teacher. It was never applicable to you. So you know or does not, you know it or don't know it, doesn't matter. It is more important for teachers. Agreed, not agreed. Yes, circulars are basically documents given by the CBDT as a clarification for issues which are there in the market. This clarification is more for the department. It's more for the officers, the department, and it's not for individuals or general public or general public. But notice, people, in the first example, when it was a well, even I was happy, and I was itself voluntarily going and saying, sir, ye dekho, well hi hai, well hi hai. In which case, when it was beneficial to me, I used it. When it was not beneficial to me, I said, I don't want it. I don't want it. Apo, people, when it is beneficial to the individual, can he use that benefit? Yes. Therefore, circulars are confirmed to be a document which clarifies a provision of a law and is binding on the department, but can be used by the individual if it is very good. If it is beneficial for the department, if it's beneficial for the assessee, if it is beneficial for the assessee. Any doubts on this part? Clear? Same example, people. Imagine now you are going back to your school. You'll see that in a school there'll be one big brown color board. और ब्राउन कलर बोर्ड के बाद ग्लास का एक बाहर रहेगा. Yes, and there'll be one document inside it. Document heading will say notice. The document heading will say notice. Due to the start of board exams, going forward there is no more PT periods. Have you seen it? Yes. Now, people, when the notice was being published, the notice was published for the teachers. No. It was published for the teachers also. No. Hey, tomorrow can the PT sir come and say, why this notice? IPT, no maths. Can he tell? Which means PT sir will also have to follow. PT sir will also have to follow. Maths ma'am will also have to follow. Students will also have to. Apo, this notice by the principal was given for department also, individuals also. Correct, not correct? Yes, upon when CBDT is passing a notification, the notification is binding on department, individual also. Correct, not correct? What does a notification do? Very simple. First of all, rule is binding on everyone. Rule is binding on. Notification is binding on everyone. A circular is binding on department. Notification is binding on, which means when rule is binding on everyone, notification is binding on everyone. How do I make a rule? By passing. Very good. Yes or no? So our rules are passed by notifications. Department will prepare a notification. In the notification, the department will come and say, I'm creating this rule. I'm creating this rule. This is a change in the rule. All that is happening and that gets incorporated into the rules. Gets incorporated in the rules for them to make changes. For them to make changes. Any doubts on this part? Same example, people. Think about this. I gave you an example where I told you 30th November is the return filing due date. On 30th November, portal is not working. Whom am I approaching? CBDT, telling them, sir, I want an extension. People, when CBDT gives an extension, extension is for me, for department. It's for both. It's for obviously no people. When extension is happening, it's happening for me also. It's happening for them also, which means it's binding on both. Apo that will be passed by very good. It'll be passed by notifications and will be binding on both. Which means when the notification comes, Rahul also will say extension. Department will also say extension. I cannot object, they cannot object. Whether it is my favor or doesn't matter, whether it is my favor or not in my favor, it does not matter. It will always be binding. It will always be binding. But a circular coming in will only be binding on departments. Any doubts on this part? Bolo, kya hua? How? Law does not make the rules. Law gives the power to make the rules. Meaning, Act will tell that CBDT has been given the power to make the rules. That's all. Full stop. It's not. It's not. So rules is coming and telling you what to do. Let me give you a simple example for understanding purposes. Imagine the Act comes and says you have to file a return on 30th November. Now, when you have to file a return, you need to know a couple of things. First, how to file the return. Next, where to file the return. Next, how to file the return. What form should I use? Should I give a white paper? Should I give a green paper? Should I put it in a specific document? Should I put it in Excel and give it to you? All those things will be given by the rules, which means rule will come and say section 139 says file return. I will tell you this is the process. Clear? So rules will not take anything extra. Rules will just define additional things for you in the activities, but that is all binding based on the act, which means it cannot override that. At no point of time can rules come and say, no, no, 30th November extend karke 31st December kar do. That's not going to work. That's not going to work. I will have to abide with 30th November only. That cannot change because I am in rules. I cannot override an. Very good. I cannot override an act. Any doubts on this part? Are we clear? Yes. So if I ask you a question, people, MCQ question for your exam, what is binding on department? Okay. Here is where you have to start learning law. When I said the word, what is binding on department? Everything is binding on department. What is binding only on department? Now you see the law. Correct? People reading between the lines is extremely important and extremely critical. Be careful. When I say only department, that's a circular because I will not use the law. But when I say what is binding on department, everything is binding on department. Notification is also binding only. Yes or no? Yes. So don't make the mistake of reading it that way, people. Question will come and say, what is binding on department? All of the above. But when the question says, what is binding only on department? Answer is circulars. Very good. Yes. Question, what is binding on assessee, individual? Everything other than. See, now you understand this carefully. Yes. So you have to follow the act also. You have to follow the rule also. You have to follow the notification also. You're not going to follow the circulars unless it is beneficial to you. Unless it is beneficial to you. Any doubts on this part? Very good. That leaves me with the last thing, people. The last thing called you and I both know case laws are done by judiciary bodies. India has judiciary bodies. The job of a judiciary body is to one person made the law, one person follows the law, the other person he does not break the law. People, we are not Shivas. The person interprets the law. The person interprets the law. Basically, people, you will never go to a court when you don't have a problem. You will go to the court when something is not clear. Basically, I have found a loophole. Department is not happy. What will happen? We both will fight in the court and we'll come and say, sir, mistake is with the department. They did not define, so you help me define. At this stage, department will come and define, sorry, courts will come and define something for you, therefore plugging in the loopholes. Plugging in the, agreed, not agreed. Yes, so courts don't break the law, people. Courts technically interpret the law. Any doubts on this part? Very good. Tell me the courts available in India for civil purposes. Civil purposes. We have something called topmost is Supreme Court, bottom comes High Court. Adhik niche is something called income tax appellate tribunals. It's called income tax appellate tribunal in income tax purposes. Adhe Mari, when you go to Companies Act will have something called NCLT. Very good. National Company Law Tribunal. The point is very simple, people. When it comes to civil matters, obviously you need to go to an expert first. You can't directly approach a district court. District court does not know the exact matter itself. In which case, we have now started creating specialized courts. That specialized courts are called as tribunals. Tribunals are basically a quasi-judicial court. Kya court? Quasi-judicial basically means it has the same powers as a, but it is not a court. But it is not a court, which means it is deemed as a court. It is deemed as a court. It has all the powers of a court, but just that it is created for a specific reason, which means income tax appellate tribunal will only answer income tax matters. NCLT will only answer company law matters. GST appellate tribunal will only answer. Very good. That is what the understanding should be. Any doubts on the understanding here? This is what the answer is. Yes, in income tax, we have three major bodies. One is called ITAT, Income Tax Appellate Tribunal, High Courts, and then Supreme Courts. As much as you people would be aware, Supreme Court is the apex court of India. Apex court means highest authority. In India, we have how many Supreme Courts? Sure है? नहीं, पूछ रहा हूँ. Instagram में देखा था 6 बोले थे इसलिए पूछ रहा हूँ. We have only one Supreme Court sitting in Delhi. People, now understand the hierarchy carefully. When you are upset with something, first place you will have to approach someone called as Commissioner of Income Tax, which means officer ka boss. Not the ultimate boss, officer ka boss. Which means my officer's boss is called as Commissioner of Income Tax. When you're not happy with him, you'll go and approach the tribunal. If you're not happy with him, you'll approach the High Court. And if you're not happy, you'll approach the. Very good. Now, people, I have gone to CIT, the Commissioner of Income Tax. I've asked for a decision. He has given passed me a decision. Imagine he has passed a decision in the name of Rahul, which means he said Rahul ke case mein this is the answer. This is the answer. Can you people go and tell your officer, sir, see, sir, Rahul ke case mein I got a decision. Can you apply the same? No. This is only applicable to me. This is only applicable to me because this is my CIT, my officer's boss. He is not your officer's boss. Your officer's boss can give you a different judgment altogether, which means CIT decisions are only applicable to his officer. CIT appeals are only applicable to. Very good. Now, people, I am not happy with the CIT decision. I went and approached tribunal. Every state has its own tribunal, which means when a tribunal passes a judgment, it applies to that. Very good. Now, people, imagine I am sitting in Chennai. Tribunal of Chennai has come and said, this is the decision. Can a Mumbai tribunal come and say, I will also follow? Yes, he can follow. He doesn't have to abide by it. He doesn't have to abide by it, which means he can come and say, I can refer. Yes, Chennai tribunal is passed. He's already looked into the matters. I can use that as a reference point. But he will not come and say, no, no, I will follow because he said. He has his own mindset. He has his own mindset. He can make his own choices. Correct? Yes. If you're not happy with the tribunal, you now approach. Every state has its own, which means High Court decisions are also applicable to the state. Are also applicable to the state. If High Court decision is not favorable, you go to. And once Supreme Court passes judgment, it applies to whole of. Very good. Which means every state will have to follow the moment Supreme Court comes and tells this answer to you. Yes. Yes. People, I'm not happy with Supreme Court. Where do I go? आ जाएगा CBDT के पास. Writ petition is also taken by court only. क्या? United Nations. If you are not happy with Supreme Court, where do you go? Nowhere. You can't go anywhere. You can't go anywhere. Supreme Court passes the judgment. That becomes the law of the land. It becomes the law of the land, which means it is as if coming and saying Supreme Court can make its own law. Can make its own law, and therefore that becomes the law of the land. No one else can override it except for one party. Except for one party, which is called. Except for one party, which is called International Court of Justice, ICJ. It's called the International Court of Justice. Now, people, International Court of Justice is not a cakewalk. You can't just like that go to International Court of Justice. ICJ will only take up those matters which involve cross-border transactions. What transactions? Basically means import export. Basically means one of the party at least should be outside India. One of the parties should at least be outside India, which means dealing should happen between an Indian guy and a foreign guy. It should be a cross-border transaction. Only then will it happen. And by the way, the case should be filed not by me. Should be filed by the foreign guy because I am the person making the problem. Yes or no? Because I am the department, I am the person making the problem. Up the person who will approach the court will be the foreign guy. He will go and say, "Sir, India is being stupid here. Therefore, please change the law and make the changes." Therefore, ICJ will be approached accordingly. He will be the one making the choices. Clear with me on this? Yes or no? Yes. Now, only good news for you in your inter-level people is case laws are not part of syllabus. Case laws are not part of syllabus. What you will learn for your exam is act, rules, circulars. Very good. These are the four things you're going to learn for your exams. Nothing else is relevant for your exam purposes. Are we clear? Are we clear? Yes, very good. This is your overall understanding. This is your overall understanding on the subject. Yes. Now, let me clarify to you. I have still not touched inter. I've still not touched inter. Day two is successful completion of foundation. Successful completion of foundation. Today, I can at least tell you, TK, you probably are now deserving to sit in inter. Yes, because now when a person talks to you, you should be able to answer kya chal raha hai. Yes, that is the only requirement you have right now. Yes, now is when you're going to start learning the subject called as income tax laws. Yes, so from the next class, we are going to start learning income tax laws. People, before you come for the next class, please carry a everything. Notebook, black pen, red pen, highlighter, sticky note, calculator, pencil. Please carry a pencil. All these will be required people. Next class I'm going to start giving notes. So please carry all those things in next class. अगर ऐसा कोई सिचुएशन आता है कि सुबह 6 बजे पता चला मेरे को पहले बता दो. Yes, yes, good. Thank you people. Have a good weekend.